Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you guys are here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We have a little guest for today's video. As you can see, Miss Melly. She is just the sweetest girl and she is very cuddly, as you can see. But today we're going to be doing another reading vlog, and it is going to be a realistic reading week in my life. Sometimes I read more, sometimes I read less, just depending on how busy I am, or if I can concentrate on books, or if I'm really invested in those books or not. And I've honestly been in a really weird reading mood since the beginning of the year. So we'll kind of just see how this goes. Maybe I'm just in the mood for a lot of reading this week. Maybe I'm not. It just kind of depends. Today is Monday and I haven't read anything so far today, but I am in the middle of two books right now. The first book I've been reading for quite a while. I kind of soft DNF'd it in February, and then I've gotten back into it about a week ago, and I've just been reading it here and there as my before bed book, and that is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the second book in the Boys of Tommen series, and I am currently about to start chapter 19, 21% through, and on page 132. I don't know how much of this book we're going to be reading in this vlog, but I will definitely give a synopsis and more thoughts on it if I do end up reading it quite a bit. And my other current read is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is the third book in the Skyward series by him, which is a YA sci-fi series. In this series, we are following our main character, Spensa, and she lives in a world that has literally been under attack since before she was born. And the pilots are like the heroes of this world and are the ones who are trying to save their people from mass destruction. And as always, with a book that isn't the first book in a series, there is only so much I can say about it. The first book was really fun though, because if you love like any type of schooling in books, you would love the first book. It's about all these young pilots learning everything it really like almost costs to be a pilot, and just learning the ins and outs. There's such great found family in this series too that I really enjoyed, and it really shines in the first book. The second book though, Spensa kind of goes off on her own little adventure, and we learn so much about the political system, about the other species and the other planets in this world that they're living in, and why everything is really happening the way it is. We just get so much more information, and same with the novellas that are in between book 2 and book 3. We get so much information in those as well. And in this one, Cytonic, Spensa is also on another journey on her own, and it's been very interesting to see how this all plays out, but it's a really important journey that she had to go through. I decided to get on Libby because I've just been loving reading on my Kindle lately. I'm about to start chapter 16. I'm on page 136 and I am 33% through, and I'm really excited to continue this book and see where it goes. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and start reading. Good morning and happy Tuesday. I just did our math for Monday, and it looks like I read 161 pages in total, which ended up being 92 pages of Cytonic. And then I also started a new memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, and I was listening to it, but I technically read 69 pages of it. This is Lisa Marie Presley's memoir, and my friend Kristen read it and she absolutely loved it. And you guys know I love a good memoir. I love listening to them specifically because I feel like it's just so immersive getting to hear somebody's story from their point of view, but this one is a little bit different. Lisa Marie Presley was in the process of doing her memoir, but she ended up passing away. So her daughter, Riley Keough, which you might recognize that name, it's because she actually plays Daisy Jones in Daisy Jones and the Six, like the show. So since Riley's her daughter, she kind of ended up putting the pieces together and kind of putting things in where she felt like things were lacking and helping her mom tell the story since she is now gone. So those parts are actually from Riley's perspective, and she's actually narrating those parts. And then Julia Roberts is narrating Lisa Marie Presley's parts, which is super cool. Love Julia Roberts, love Riley Keough. They're both great actresses, so obviously I would expect nothing different from their storytelling abilities in an audiobook. And I'm only 26% through, and it's just so excellent so far. I'm really enjoying it. As for Cytonic, I am really enjoying this as well. This is more of like a physical representation of where I'm at. I'm 55% of the way through as of right now. One thing I do like about Brandon Sanderson is anytime I feel like I am reading fantasy and it's it's getting so repetitive. He just brings something new to the table. Like, he really just does. And I know this is sci-fi, so it's already a little bit different, but just like the ideas of things going on are just so different and unique, and not like in a crazy far off like outlandish way. Like, it's just in such an easy way that it kind of brings back my spark for reading more of like a incredibly fictionalized genre instead of just reading like romance books or literary fiction books where like those things could happen in real life. Don't know what just, oh my gosh. Don't know what just happened to my voice. That was lovely. And since I'm currently 55% of the way through, I genuinely feel like not a lot has happened, but I've been interested because his writing is just so bingeable. It's so bingeable. If there is one writer in like the sci-fi genre, fantasy genre, that I could probably just keep reading forever, and mind you, I've only read his YA series so far, so I don't know about the other books, but this writing is just so easy to understand, and just like, he knows what he's doing when trying to tell a story, and yet there's so many like interesting things happening at the same time. Like, I love it. I think the major thing that I love so much about the first book compared to these other two is the major sense of found family. And the second book and this book, the third book, we haven't gotten as much of that because Spence has kind of been off on her own adventure and her own journeys, which has been fine, and I feel like it makes sense for her character, but I just find myself really missing those characters and that sense of found family. And we've gotten that quite a bit in the novellas that I've read so far, and I've really enjoyed those novellas. Probably some of the best novellas I've ever read. And I know there's probably a big reason as to why she had to go on this little journey alone too, just like in the second book, but I really hope the last book is just kind of like a found family free-for-all, and we all get reunited, we all go through everything together, because I feel like that would be a great way to end the series. And plus, that's just what I want. So that's that. So I'm really hopeful for that whenever I eventually get to the last book, Defiant. It seems like I have a little less than 200 pages left in this, so we probably won't be finishing this today if we're being realistic. Anyways, we are gonna get to reading for the day. Is being so sweet right now. She always has to like sit by me whenever I'm filming, or sit on me, of course, if I'm reading or anything like that, and she is just the cutest girl. We are literally obsessed with her. Anyways, happy Wednesday, you guys. Yesterday on Tuesday I read 85 pages total. I read 55 pages of Cytonic and 30 pages of From Here to the Great Unknown. I don't really have any updates as of right now on those two books, honestly. The Lisa Marie Presley memoir is really good, and I feel like it just keeps getting more and more interesting. I never really knew that much about Lisa Marie Presley, just in general, because she wasn't really like a big celebrity during a time that I was like in tune with pop culture, so I really knew nothing about her. So it's really interesting to me, and it's really good. I'll probably listen to it quite a bit today because I do have some laundry that I need to do, and just like a few other cleaning chores, and then I also need to make a thumbnail for a video that's coming up that's already out, and I love listening to audiobooks while I do my thumbnails, so we'll probably listen to it then. With Cytonic, I really don't think I have anything to say. Maybe I'll update you guys throughout the day while I'm reading it. I'm currently at 69% as of right now, and I'm still enjoying it. I just feel like the pacing is a little slow and there's not that much happening, but yet the writing is so digestible and bingeable that I almost don't notice that as much. But now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm like, hold up, like what really has actually happened in this book? Luke and I did end up seeing the Thunderbolts last night too, and it was so good, you guys. It's not my favorite Marvel movie I've ever seen, but I will say, as somebody who has loved Marvel for so long, has watched all the movies and tried to keep up these past few years, honestly ever since Endgame, well maybe that's not true. We had like Spider-Man No Way Home and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I enjoyed that one too, but a lot of the other movies that have come out after Endgame and the shows too have really just been hit or miss, honestly. And this one just kind of felt like we're back, you know? So many people have been saying that, but it really gives me hope with where we're going with the MCU and the stories that we're going to be telling, and it makes me even more excited for Fantastic Four. And Luke and I were literally talking about it in the car. He's not really like as into Marvel. He hasn't like watched everything and seen everything. I haven't watched all of the TV shows at this point just because there are so many things to watch now. Luke is more into like the X-Men side of things, and since the X-Men is coming together with the MCU, obviously because of like the Disney 20th Century Fox merger and all of that stuff. He's definitely like a little bit more interested, and we've been talking about maybe rewatching some of the X-Men movies, if not all of them, because I haven't seen them as much as the regular Marvel ones, or not the regular Marvel ones, the MCU. I think I'm gonna be done yapping as of right now, and we are just going to get into some reading. I am really excited to continue this because I feel like since it's been slow, we're about to have a lot of stuff go down, so I'm really interested to see where he takes it. Okay, I'm kind of like to a point where this book where a lot wasn't like happening, kind of like I was saying earlier, and now there definitely is stuff happening, but I'm not really sure about the choice, or I guess not the choice, but like the thought of the choice that our main character Spencer was going to make. It just kind of felt like an unnecessary stream of consciousness because I knew what she was going to end up doing, and it made sense, but I feel like Brandon Sanderson almost harped on it like too much in a way that really just didn't make sense for Spence's character. Something did happen though that I'm like kind of shocked by. I kind of guessed it happening in a way, but not like in this way, and now it kind of furthers a different theory that I had about this book, so I'm kind of curious if I'm right about that whole thing. As of right now, I think the reason why I'm enjoying it is not because of the plot and the things going on. I think it's just because of the writing, because the writing's so good and well done. Like if somebody else wrote this book, I don't think I would be enjoying it as much. But I also feel like a lot of things that are going on in this book are definitely going to come into play a lot later in the last book. I kind of have a theory that all these little extra journeys that Spencer has been on, all the people that we've met along the way, are going to come into the last book, and everything's gonna kind of be a little bit more full circle in that way as well, which I think would be really cool. But we all know how I feel about a filler book, and this one is definitely giving me filler book vibes. Like we're still learning a lot of important things, it's just there's not enough happening to where I'm not sure if this should have been like a whole separate book. I don't really know, especially with like the novellas and stuff that are happening at the exact same time as everything in this book. I don't really know. I think at this point I just need to finish and then give my final thoughts after I've actually finished it, because then I'll have more answers as to how I'm feeling. Happy Thursday, everybody. Let's go ahead and get into my Wednesday's reading recap. On Wednesday, I ended up reading 168 pages in total. I read 94 pages of Cytonic and then 74 pages of From Here to the Great Unknown. I don't have any updates on From Here to the Great Unknown, but I did end up actually finishing Cytonic this morning. I really wanted to finish it last night, but then we had a family dinner to go to. But even then, I was going to say I've been finishing it because I was kind of like locked in and just really wanted to get to the bottom of things and know what was going to happen. And I fell asleep. I guess I was just real tired last night. So this morning I finished the last 32 pages of Cytonic. When I was talking about my thoughts last night, I didn't want to fully say this like with my chest until I finished the book yet, but you know how in a lot of fantasy books they have like not just two POVs a lot of the time, they'll have multiple POVs. Like if we're talking about Throne of Glass, I can't even count how many POVs are in that book, honestly. But I absolutely love it because I love seeing things from so many different sides and getting to learn how so many different people on so many different sides of the story get to feel about certain things. And it really just made the story super full circle to me. Now, what's nice about this series, actually, and I've already read the first two novellas, but they have these novellas that come before this book in the series, right? But what's happening in all of these novellas is happening at the exact same time as Miss Spencer Nightshade's current little adventure that she's having in Cytonic. And genuinely, I feel like Cytonic was kind of giving me filler book energy. I assume that there's going to be a lot that happened in this book that's going to come back in the next book, and it's going to be really important, obviously. But in my opinion, since I've really been loving the novellas, I almost kind of wish that we just got a bigger book and this was all kind of put into one. I mean, we'd probably take out quite a few things here and there from the novellas and from Spence's story just because it was kind of feeling a little bit repetitive. But I think overall that would have been a little bit more productive and a little bit more exciting. And then we could have gotten to see everybody's different perspectives in the last book as well, because I assume that in the last book it is just Spence's perspective. I feel like that keeps up interest and intrigue in all the different stories that you have going on and really just makes the audience more invested in the whole story, not just Spence's story. Obviously, I am no author, never written a book here, so take this with a grain of salt, but that is just my personal opinion, especially as somebody who has read quite a few fantasy books with a lot of different point of views. I feel like the ones with more point of views, where I get more perspectives, I just enjoy more because I just feel so invested in the world and the characters. And I felt like I got this with this because I got to read the novellas, but I almost just wish they were all in one big book, because whenever the pacing was slowing down during like a novella or this book, then I could have gone to the other perspective and things would have been happening. I also feel like there was like a big part of this book that kind of got like a little bit rushed as we kept going along, but it was a really interesting part, so I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed in that. It was something that was happening 4 different times in 4 different ways. And the first time, it was like a super cool immersive experience. The second time, it was a little less cool because there was a little less going on, but it was still like up there with the first time. And then the third and fourth time, they just like zip past. Like I didn't even feel like it happened. And I feel like those moments were supposed to hold so much weight, and yet we didn't really fully go into depth about them. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird because that was something that was kind of like keeping me intrigued throughout the story and like making me want to keep reading. Like I've already said, the writing as always is good. I just think there were a few opportunities for storytelling that weren't taken full advantage of, I guess, and it kind of felt like unsatisfying. Otherwise, I still enjoyed it. It's probably my least favorite in the series at this point. I do still have one last novella left, which I'm really looking forward to because the last novella that I read kind of left it off on a cliffhanger. So I'm really excited to read this last one, and then I have one last book that's going to kind of tie everything up. So I'm excited to be able to finish this series soon. I'm obviously still listening to the Lisa Marie Presley memoir. I don't know if I'll be listening to that at all today. I feel like I only really listen to an audiobook if I'm doing an activity that like grants me listening to it. So sometimes I do read those slower. Sometimes I read them faster, just depending on if I have more chores or if I want to do like more coloring or more little cozy hobbies that week. It just really depends. As for the physical book that I want to start, I really am kind of like itching to read a romance, like a fluffy, fun, cute little romance book. So I've decided we are going to start Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. I'm excited. I've heard really great things about this, and I feel like I'm in the perfect mood to pick this up. Sarah Adams definitely isn't like my favorite author, but if I'm in the mood for one of her books, it can be like game changing for someone like me who is just like such a big mood reader. And I feel like I'm in the perfect mood for this one to hit. This is the 3rd book in her little When in Rome interconnected series that she's currently writing right now. In this one, we are following the sister Emily. The first book followed the brother Noah. The second one followed the sister Annie. So now we're following Emily, and she's a teacher. The male main character's name is Jack, and it's a rivals to lovers book, and they are also neighbors. That sounds pretty fun and nice to me. I love some forced proximity as well. And it has been so nice outside recently, and I don't know really why, but whenever it's nicer outside, I am just like itching to pick up romances way more than usual. Also don't know how much I'm going to end up reading besides what I read this morning, because it is in fact almost like 7:30 p.m. So we shall see, but I definitely do want to start this tonight. Happy Friday, you guys. Yesterday on Thursday, I read 76 pages total. As you guys know, in the morning, I finished Cytonic. I had 32 pages left, and then I started Beg, Borrow, or Steal last night as well, and I got 44 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. It is so easy to read. I just knew I was in the mood for this, and I love that feeling whenever you pick the perfect book that you're in the mood for. I'm about to start chapter 4, and one thing I do really love about Sarah Adams books is that they are dual POV. I love a dual POV romance book. It just hits every single time. The tension that they already have in this one is really fun. I love a rivals to lovers plot. They also have really good banter. I don't know what else I could ask for in a romance book, to be honest. So I'm really excited to continue reading this today and maybe getting a little bit more into it. I will say one thing about Sarah Adams and me, I think I need to be in the perfect mood for her books, and I'm really glad the mood has striked. Or would it be stricken? Stricken? I don't really know. Whatever word that makes sense there with what I just said. Anyways, I'm going to be going to a coffee shop today to do some work because I want to finish editing a video. I might do some reading while we're there. We'll have to see how long it takes me to finish the video. But I feel like on Fridays, I like to go get like a little treat out. So I'm going to go get a chai at a coffee shop. We're going to chill, edit, and do some reading. Happy Saturday, happy weekend, everybody. On Friday, I ended up reading 58 pages of Big Bar or Steel by Sarah Adams, and then only 27 pages of the Lisa Marie Presley memoir. So I ended up reading 85 pages in total for Friday. Today, Luke and I went and we did some grocery shopping. We just ran a few other errands as well. We're cleaning a little bit because we're gonna have his family over here tomorrow because it's Mother's Day. We also bought some stuff to decorate our living space because we thought it would be like kind of fun and make her feel a little bit more special on Mother's Day, so why not? So while we're doing that, since we're going to be kind of doing it like separately but also like working on it together, if you know what I mean, I'm probably going to be listening to the Lisa Marie Presley memoir a little bit more. Still really enjoying it. My thoughts really haven't changed at all on it because I've just been slowly trekking through it as I've had time to listen. With Miss Big Bar or Steel, I am still enjoying this as well. I'm currently on page 102, I believe. I ended up falling asleep while I was reading, which is a very common thing that happens to me. It's cute, it's fun. I feel like the scene that kind of like just happened might have happened a little bit too early for me, to be completely honest. Obviously, I can't give a lot of context on what that is, but I feel like it's taking a little bit away from the slow burn of this book. I guess I am already 100 pages in, but I don't know. I also feel like it was a thing that happened that was kind of like out of character for the male main character, but besides that, I'm still having fun. And that is just very well what this book is supposed to be. I don't know how much I'm going to read today because I don't really know if I'm like in the biggest reading mood, to be completely honest. Plus I think Luke and I are gonna like chill, hang out, watch a movie tonight, but I'm hoping to get a little bit more through both of the books that I'm currently reading right now. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy last day of the week and happy last day of this reading vlog. I just did the math for Saturday. I ended up reading 35 pages of Big Bar or Steel, and then I ended up finishing the Lisa Marie Presley memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown. I had 81 pages left. So in total, I ended up reading 116 pages yesterday. The Lisa Marie Presley memoir is easily one of my favorite memoirs I have ever read. I think this one and then Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz are like my top two memoirs that I've ever read at this point. And as I've been reading more memoirs, I've kind of been realizing that not every memoir is made the same. Like there are some that are just so incredibly interesting, right? It's fun to learn about famous people's lives that you are a fan of or you've been interested in their work and watch some of their work. And no matter what, I'm gonna enjoy a memoir even if it's like that. But the ones I've been reading recently, they've just been so engrossing and just like gripping, honestly. The stories that they tell and who the narrator is, I feel like is a big part of this too. Julia Roberts and Riley Keough did an amazing job narrating this. Their storytelling abilities are absolutely exceptional, absolutely top tier, honestly. Learning about Lisa Marie, but also getting to see a lot of her life from Riley Keough, who is her daughter's perspective, was also just so different than I feel like a lot of the other memoirs that I've read. And there's just something about this one that was different that reminds me a lot of Dinner for Vampires. It felt very real and raw and very vulnerable, and I just feel like when a memoir does that, it's just so like relatable. Yesterday I did read 30ish pages of Beg, Borrow, or Steal. I'm currently on page 138. I'm without a doubt enjoying this. Like, there's really not much to not be enjoyed, especially because I'm in the mood for a book like this right now. And I remember talking yesterday about a scene that kind of felt out of character for our male main character, and just like something he was doing, a part of like who he was and his personality, what he chose to do. And I'm kind of feeling two different ways about this at this point. Number one, Sarah Adams just really wanted a male main character who did that thing, and so she wrote it. Maybe it just didn't fit his character the best. Or two, I just had a preconceived notion of who this character was in my head, but I just didn't really know him well enough to know if this would work for him or not. And I feel like as I've been reading like a little bit more, I've kind of been like, oh, like this kind of fits. I don't know. And I probably sound so silly for those of you who haven't read this book yet and you're like, what? Maybe I sound silly to those of you who have and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But for some reason, our main character Jack to me just doesn't feel like all of his character choices are like aligned, if that makes sense. But I don't really know. I'm gonna keep on reading. I think this is genuinely just a me thing, I'll be completely honest. But like the way that they're describing him, he just doesn't give me these vibes. I don't know. Emily as a character definitely feels more whole to me, and I feel like she has a lot more details that just make her feel like she's like a real person. Let me just say, the banter in this one is the best that Sarah Adams has ever done. I'm really enjoying the banter. They're just so funny and witty towards each other. It's just like very playful and lighthearted, but also like fun. Like it's like they're competing with each other. Even though this is like during the summer, it's not during the school setting of like during the school year, which I don't know. I was kind of like wanting that because it's about teachers. So I am a bit bummed because I haven't read a lot of books about like two teachers, so you could have gotten like the school atmosphere and like interacting with the kids and having that element of forced proximity and even more rivals to lovers moments. But I also don't want to judge this book based off the things that I thought it was and not what it actually is, because I feel like that's kind of unfair. I would say I'm about like 1/3ish, maybe a little bit more of the way through, but at this point there's not anything about this book that I don't like, so that's a plus, right? This Sunday while I'm filming this, you're probably gonna see it like weeks later, but it is also Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. So I'm like a little bit more done up today. I wore my first dress of the season. I was very excited. I also curled my shorter hair, and it actually worked out this time. Whenever it was like more bob level, it was not working out. It was like so big and poofy, and it did not look good no matter what I did because of like the layers that I had. But I think it's finally long enough for me to curl it and it not look absolutely insane. If you're not a mom, hope you had a great weekend. Don't know what day I'm posting this. Again, could be on like a Wednesday, so that could be a little weird to hear on a Wednesday, but happy whatever day of the week you're watching this. I think I've been chatting for a little bit too long because my camera's literally about to stop recording me, so I'm gonna get changed and go ahead and get on with my day and do some reading today. Next day, it is Monday, the start of a new week, so it is time to close out this reading vlog. My totals for Sunday, I just ended up reading Beg, Borrow, or Steal. I ended up reading to page 200, fell asleep, so in total I read 63 pages. I've also read quite a bit this morning, so I think I have like 100 pages left of this book, and I'm really enjoying it a lot more as we've been going a little bit more into the story. I feel like this is getting a lot deeper than a lot of Sarah Adams' other books get. Not that the other books don't have talk of more deep things, but whenever I have the ability to relate to a character and get to know them on like a different type of level, that's whenever I really enjoy a romance. I'll be sharing my final thoughts in a wrap up at the end of the quarter. The grand total of what I read during this reading week in my life is 754 pages. And I'm pretty sure I said this at the beginning that every week is obviously very different. I almost always have an audiobook going and a physical book going at once, as well as a before bed book, even though I didn't read a single page of Keeping 13 in this video because I was honestly just way too invested in the other books that I was reading. This week I also didn't have like a ton going on, and I feel like there normally is at least 1, maybe 2 days of the week that I don't read like anything at all, depending on what exactly is going on in my life at the moment. Regardless, those are all my stats. It is the end of the reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And just know at the end of the day, reading is no sport. It is no competition. It's just kind of fun to see how much somebody can read in a week. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you watched until this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below your favorite flower emoji so I know who the real ones are who watched till the end. If you want to keep up with me on the daily, you can follow me on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads. I'm always posting on all of those and they are always linked down below. And I think that is going to be it for today's video. I love you guys so much. Hope you're having an amazing day and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
She's under my legs.
Powers by Jethany? Who's that? I was cat hair. I fear I'm already wildly entertained. I don't know where to look because you're in the mirror, but it's like I'm talking to myself. That's weird. Anyways, liking it so far. First chapter done. Instagram, YouTube. I am always, nope, we're on YouTube, babes. Skyward series by him, which is a Wi-Fi, sci-fi, see how he is? Okay. Peace.